Responses. On to our second question. What do you see as the mayor's role in nurturing the arts and cultural scene in San Jose, and explicitly in encouraging private philanthropy to support San Jose arts organizations? What's the mayor's role in that? Councilman Liccardo, you're first.
I was worried he was going to ask a question that would require me to sing like Pierluigi. Working with our Office of Economic Development, we launched an effort to begin what I would call peer-to-peer conversations among CEOs as we were trying to lure companies into San Jose. Because we recognize pretty well that CEOs really don't want to hear that much from elected officials from every city who want them to come into their city limits. And they really hear enough from brokers. But they respect hearing advice from a peer, another executive. And so we employed this effort a few times, one quite successfully with Barracuda CEO BJ Jenkins, who opened up a manufacturing facility in South San Jose. And it led me to believe that there's more opportunity for this. If we can engage some of those very enlightened CEOs and corporate executives, and I think many of you know who they are because they sit on your boards, to engage in these peer-to-peer conversations, to see how we could create a mayor's creative leadership circle of CEOs and corporate executives who are engaged in talking to their peers and persuading them the value of getting invested in what's happening here in the Valley. We know that those folks have customers throughout the world. Heck, often many of their employees are somewhere else in the world. But by listening to their peers, we are going to be far more effective in getting their ear than we will when we know it's simply myself or an executive director of an arts organization. I think that's our opportunity, is seeing how we can convene the private sector in that way. And we've got an opportunity to do that now.
Well, as I said, as mayor, I would be a champion for the arts. And I think that we do have, so we have a couple of companies, Adobe and Applied Materials come to mind, that have been great supporters. And there's other companies as well. And I think we need to reach out to them and welcome them to join us in this endeavor. And I know that the Office of Cultural Affairs has some projects already where we are looking at artists working within companies and doing some creative, innovative things within those companies so that companies can see the value of having artists in residence within their own companies. I think that the connection between art and tech for the tech companies is something we really need to understand better and bring forward to those executives to help them realize the value of it. Not only in terms of supporting additional art programs in our community, but the value that art brings to their own companies in terms of innovation. So I would absolutely be a strong supporter. I think one festival that comes to mind that I think especially is emblematic of what we can do with tech companies is Zero One. I went to Zero One when it first started back in 2006, and I can tell you that that was a transformative experience for me. It was absolutely amazing and showed me what we could do in Silicon Valley in a festival that absolutely showed our potential in tech as well as our potential in art. So I would also support festivals and activities as large and as imaginative as Zero One.
The mayor's role in creating a vibrant art and cultural environment in our city is critical. It is so critical because I look at arts and the arts community as an industry that actually can help boost economic development. When people come to a city and they visit all these great facilities and like the Tech Museum, some of the facilities downtown, they will spend money, they stay at a hotel, they eat. It's the greatest economic development indicator for us. And as a mayor, I want to get more revenue in our general fund so that we can use that money and channel back to providing services and programs for our community. And so that's how I look at the arts and cultural aspects of our budget. One of the missing links that I see here, though, in San Jose is there is a lack of Asian representation sitting on the various boards with our arts and cultural facilities. And this is something that I would work very hard to make sure that we have more representations, because when we have people that are millionaires and billionaires they come from the Asian American community sitting on this board. It's not just them contributing making financial contributions to these arts and cultural facilities, but it's also encouraging children from the Asian American community to attend, to come and visit, to know more about and learn more about the arts. That is something that we're missing. And as a mayor, I want to go out personally, reach out to these folks and say, look, you've made your riches here in our valley. It's time to give back. It's time to give back and actually sit on these boards, provide a mechanism for these children, your grandchildren, to appreciate the arts better. And that's something that I pledged to do, and I'm really excited to be able to do that because that's the missing link, and we want to fill that puzzle.
So we are asked by a lot of different groups to do some fundraising, and there's various commitments that we've made out there publicly. And I would say, though, when you have a genuine interest in something, it might be a little bit easier. For me, I'd like to see the opportunity for the variety of arts groups, whether it be museums or live performing art, to offer some level of essentially free tickets to the mayor, so that then I may invite CFOs of the local companies to say, come enjoy a performance with me. You know, come bring your wife, your partner, I'll bring my partner, and we'll enjoy a performance. And maybe firsthand you can come to see the experience of arts in San Jose. Then on that personal relationship level, maybe we can pull them in to, saying, wouldn't this be fun for all your employees to be, this is something you could do. We deal with a lot of companies in this valley. Obviously, some of them are doing very well. As you may know, some of them have more cash than the U.S. government. Some of those companies have done zero for philanthropy in their history, but I think the time is changing where they maybe will recognize that doing things locally benefits not only their name, their image, but their workforce, and much of their workforce lives in San Jose because we provided the lion's share of housing for this area. The other area I'm interested in is parts of San Jose that have been laid out for public art for decades, but there's nothing there. So for example, on the other side of Cesar Chavez Park, there is that big cement area that's been meant for public art for decades, but we have nothing to put there. Why not offer a challenge to the tech community to come up with some beautiful public art, allow them some type of naming right on it, so that then we could fill that space with something colorful and something beautiful where then they can point to, their technology, and it'll provide both awareness for their product, the technology, but also art. I'm not talking about a big billboard. I'm talking about something fun and artistic, and we'd have a competition with it.
Thank you.
Well, a few years ago, I was invited in as an elected official to participate in an exercise with the Skoll Foundation, which was talking about this very issue, and some of you in the room may even have been there. It was the idea that as we go through the ups and downs of the economic cycles, it's very important for the corporate community to understand that giving comes from really 4 different sectors. The government sector, we talked a little bit earlier about how the city has stepped up in rough times especially, but overall, to do its part with the arts. And then nonprofit organizations, of course, like many that are represented in the room here, do their part, but again, are very impacted by economic cycles. And there's individual philanthropists, of course, who do their part because of their love for whatever it is that they're giving to. And then that 4th quadrant is the sector we're talking about in this question, the corporate sector. And what came out of that foundation discussion was the fact that somebody needs to convince the corporate sector of what their role is in that quadrant, that we can't keep philanthropy balanced in this community. We can't keep things like the arts funded without all 4 of those levels being in balance all the time. It's not okay to say, well, that's a government thing to do, or doesn't the rep have a board, or doesn't that arts group have enough people on their board? What's the problem? The answer we need from them is, we understand it's tough times and we're in a position to step up, we'll step up. Secondly, I think in a big city like this, we need marquee things. We really do. And I completely respect Councilmember Oliverio's comments that we have a lot of art here, and I enjoy it myself. But last year, I was invited by the Consul General of Italy to the San Francisco Opera, and the San Francisco Opera did the first ever meeting with the oldest opera house in the world in Naples, and that drew philanthropists in. Thank you.
Thank you all for those responses. On to our third question. I'd like you to name